We're doing really well on the wall. The emergency you've all been reading, we do have an emergency. We have an emergency of people pouring into our country that we don't want. Criminals, smugglers. We have drugs pouring into our country. We can't have it.
Earlier today, the president trying to make his case for declaring that national emergency to fund his border wall or steel slats just days after he said he didn't need to declare an emergency. Tomorrow, the House will vote on a joint resolution to terminate the president's emergency declaration. It's expected to pass in the House. Then it heads to the Senate, where its future, as we like to say, is uncertain. 4 Republican senators would need to cross over and vote in favor of the resolution to send it to the president's desk. So far, 3 have come forward with conditions, however. Murkowski of Alaska, Collins of Maine, Tillis of North Carolina. Not coincidentally, Collins and Tillis are up for re-election in 2020. Earlier today, 26 former Republican lawmakers wrote an open letter to the current Republican members of Congress, urging them to protect the Constitution, block this emergency declaration. Also today, about 60 former U.S. national security officials issued a declaration saying they are aware of no emergency that remotely justifies diverting funds to build a border wall. Here with us to talk about it, a longtime returning guest to our broadcast, Mike Murphy, veteran Republican strategist, longtime advisor to Mitt Romney, Jeb Bush, John McCain, just to name 3. Thank you for coming back.
Good to be here.
If I said to you that people have been saying over the weekend they could make an urgent case for a national emergency on mass gun violence in this country, opioids, which is stealing 50,000 of our brothers and sisters every year, climate, yes, those 3. No problem at all. This, not so much.
Yeah, very low on the emergency scale, except in the president's mind. And remember, he's looking at a political emergency, terrible poll numbers. So he's ginning this thing up because he wants the issue, he believes, of the wall. So now you've got Republican senators in the hot seat because the House is going to pass this thing. And they've got to make a political calculation. You know, they're institutionalists, a lot of them. They hate this regardless of Trump because it's a power grab. So I think we may get 5 or 6 Republicans to bolt and the thing may pass tomorrow, but then Trump vetoes it. Then they need 60 votes to win, and that's going to be thin oxygen. I don't know if they're ever going to get there.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.